Pokémon Ultimate Journeys. The series is the 25th and current season of the Pokémon anime series, and the third and final season of Pokémon Journeys, the series, known in Japan as Pocket Monsters. The season premiered in Japan on TV Tokyo on December 17, 2021, and in the United States and Canada, the season premiered on Teletoon on May 28, 2022 and Teletoon. This season continues the Research Fellowship adventures of Ash Ketchum, Go, and Chloe, as they travel across all 8 regions, including the New Galar region from Pokémon Sword and Shield and the Galar region's Crown Tundra from Pokémon Sword and Shield, the Crown Tundra, based at Ceres Laboratory in Vermilion City in the Kanto region. Ash ascends through the ranks of the World Coronation series and Go continues his work with Project Mew. 4 episodes released on January 21 and 28, 2022 are an arcade based on the Pokémon Legends, Arceus game, with the 3rd and 4th episodes coinciding with the release of the games. The story arc debuted on Netflix on September 23, 2022, under the name Pokémon, The Arceus Chronicles. The Japanese opening song is 1, 2, 3 by Carriage Sisters for 9 episodes, and by Satoshi/Ash Ketchum and Go starting with episode 1187. The ending song is Super Effective Type by the Pokémon Music Club's Junichi Masuda, Pasocom Music Club and Pokémon Kids 2019, divided into 2 parts, the Fire Grass Water Rock Fire VER on odd-numbered episodes, and the Water Ground Electric Flying Bug VER on even-numbered episodes. The English opening song is With You by Echo Smith. Its instrumental version serves as the ending theme. Gameplay. Pokémon Legends, Arceus is an action role-playing game that preserves the core gameplay of past entries in the mainline series. The player is able to roam freely across the game map, divided into 5 large areas of individual biomes. Each time the player enters such areas, they spawn in a camp, and can fast travel to other camps in the same area. Outside of traversing the landscape on foot, the player can unlock rideable Pokémon which can travel faster, swim across bodies of water, climb cliffs, or fly. In each area, Pokémon wander the landscape, being found in certain habitats and will interact with both the player and their environments. Some will actively avoid the player while others act aggressively, and some exhibit other specific behaviors. A number of alpha Pokémon, larger, more powerful versions of the Pokémon, can also be found in the areas. The multiple areas and the hub system instead of a fully open-world gameplay resulted in reviewers comparing Legends, Arceus with the Monster Hunter series. Reviewers also drew comparisons between Pokémon Legends, Arceus and The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, noting apparent similarities in both gameplay and art style. Unlike in previous titles, the player character themselves can be attacked and harmed by wild Pokémon. If enough damage is taken, they will fall unconscious and reappear at the base camp. Players can capture wild Pokémon in the overworld without engaging in battle, though some must still be battled before being caught. Battles can be initiated by releasing captured Pokémon near a wild Pokémon. While the turn-based battle system of the prior titles is retained in the game, an additional feature is added which allows players to trade attack damage for more turns and vice versa. Outside standard battles, the game also introduces special boss battles where the player character has to dodge and attack powerful Pokémon, regular turn-based battles being included during the fights as opportunities to stun the bosses. By battling, capturing, or engaging with other interactions with Pokémon, players obtain progress in completing their Pokédex entries. Players can also take on and complete side quests given by NPCs in the game. In total, the game featured 242 Pokémon on release, including 7 new species and 17 new iterations of existing Pokémon. At the start of the game, 3 starter Pokémon are available: Rowlet, Cyndaquil and Oshawott. Pokémon Legends. Arceus is the first mainline game to feature starter Pokémon from different regions together. While players can trade Pokémon online, Legends, Arceus does not feature multiplayer battles, unlike previous installments in the series. Plot. Setting. The game is set in a bygone era of the Sinnoh region's history, when it was known as the Hisui region, long before the events of Pokémon Diamond and Pearl and their remakes take place. Hisui is based on the real-life island of Hokkaido during the Muromachi period, when it was still known as Ezo, with new settlers from other regions interacting with natives in a parallel with the interaction between Hokkaido's Ainu people and Japanese settlers. Ainu groups are represented in the game by the Diamond and Pearl clans, while new mainland settlers are represented by the Galaxy Expedition Team. The vast majority of the region is covered in sparse, open wilderness populated with wild Pokémon, with only one significant settlement in addition to a number of small campsites. Unlike in the setting of previous Pokémon games, Pokémon are treated as wild animals or forces of nature instead of as companions or partners. Pokeballs in the game are made of apricorn fruit and puff steam when a Pokémon is caught, instead of being presented as high-tech devices like in previous installations, while the Pokédex is a paper notebook. Story. The game begins with the player speaking with a disembodied voice, identified as Arceus, the creator deity of the Pokémon universe, which tasks the player with encountering all Pokémon in the Hisui region before transporting the player there through a rift in space-time. The player is found by Pokémon researcher Professor Laventon, who brings the player to a local settlement named Jubilife Village. There, the player is recruited into the Survey Corps of the Galaxy Expedition Team, a group that has arrived in Hisui to chart and study the region. After receiving their starter Pokémon, the player proceeds to travel the Hisui region to complete the Pokédex. Throughout the player's journey, the space-time rift they had been transported through results in several powerful noble Pokémon venerated by the local Diamond and Pearl clans turning berserk through powerful lightning, forcing the player to engage them in battles using bombs to calm them down. After the player defeats 5 noble Pokémon, the space-time rift begins to worsen rather than calm down as per the Galaxy team's expectations, and the sky turns an ominous red color. Blamed for the instability, the player is banished from Jubilife Village by Commander Kamadu, leader of the Galaxy team, and forced to travel the region again to address the cause of the rift. Working with either the Diamond or Pearl clans and under the care of a folklore researcher called Kajita, the player travels to the 3 major lakes of the region to encounter the legendary Pokémon Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie, the 3 beings that embody willpower, emotion and knowledge respectively. Once the player passes their trials, the 3 provide materials to craft the red chain needed to stop the rift. After defeating Commander Kamadu at the summit, the player reaches the peak of Mount Coronet, the Temple of Sinnoh, at the center of the region. Depending on the clan the player worked with, either Dialga or Palkia appears first, breaks the red chain, and is caught by the player before their enraged counterpart emerges. Using the fragments of the red chain, a special Pokeball capable of capturing the other legendary Pokémon is crafted. The player battles the legendary Pokémon in its origin form and captures it, sealing the space-time rift. In the post-game, the player teams up with Valo, a member of the Ginkgo Guild merchant group who assisted the player throughout the game, to seek out all of the plates associated with Arceus. Through this journey, the player encounters a number of other legendary Pokémon, each one holding a plate. Arriving at the Temple of Sinnoh for the last plate, Valo betrays the player and attempts to steal the plates from the player to draw out Arceus and subjugate it to make a new world. Valo also reveals he allied himself with Giratina to open the space-time rift in a failed attempt to drive out Arceus, sending the legendary caught at the end of the game mad. The player defeats both Valo and Giratina, securing the final plate and transforming the player's Celestica flute item into the Azure Flute. Once all other Pokémon have been captured, the player can play the Azure Flute at the Temple of Sinnoh to encounter Arceus. After the player proves themselves in battle, Arceus bestows upon them a part of itself, so that it may explore the world that it created by the player's side. Development. Pokémon Legends, Arceus is the first known project by Game Freak in the action role-playing subgenre. Marketing and release. Pokémon Legends, Arceus was first revealed in the Pokémon Presents on February 26, 2021 alongside Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as part of the Pokémon 25th Anniversary celebration. According to the official Pokémon Twitter account, it serves as a pre-make to Diamond and Pearl. During a Pokémon Presents on August 18, 2021, new trailer was revealed with a focus on exploration and story background, as well as new Pokémon. On September 28, 2021, a new trailer showcased some of the game's customization, menus, characters, and Cleaver, a new Pokémon. On October 19, 2021, an artificially corrupted found footage CGI video was showcased teasing new Pokémon. 2 days later, it was confirmed that the obscured Pokémon were regional forms of Zorua and Zoroark. On December 9, 2021, the official Pokémon Twitter account teased a Pokeball-related announcement for Legends, Arceus. The next day, a regional variant of Voltorb, a Pokémon based on Pokeballs, was announced. On December 15, 2021, a new trailer showcased several factions present in the game, as well as their leaders. On January 7, 2022, an overview trailer was released in Japanese, showcasing the world, people, and Pokémon. However, the trailer was not localized into English until January 24, 2022. The game was released worldwide on January 28, 2022. Exclusive in-game and physical bonuses were given out to those who pre-ordered the game digitally or physically. In Japan, those who pre-ordered Pokémon Legends, Arceus received a gold holographic artbook along with a limited edition Arceus promotional trading card. A free content update, Daybreak, was announced and released on February 27, 2022. Tie-ins. Reception. Critical reception. Pokémon Legends, Arceus received generally favorable reviews, according to review aggregator Metacritic. Andrew Webster of The Verge praised the game's overhaul of the Pokémon formula, particularly the world design and Pokédex challenges, writing that it was the biggest overhaul to the Pokémon formula since the series debuted. Despite criticizing the battle system, Ryan Gilliam of Polygon liked the open world and how simple catching Pokémon was compared to previous entries, saying, "It's so easy and fluid to just grab a Pokémon and add them to my party while I'm exploring the game's verdant fields or snowy tundra." Jordan Midler of Nintendo Life praised Pokémon Legends, Arceus for its rewarding exploration, addictive catching mechanics, quality of the Pokémon roster, and its genuine sense of scale, while stating that Pokémon Legends, Arceus is quite simply one of the greatest Pokémon games ever made. Jessica Scharnagel of Dota Sports stated that many of the tedious mechanics and forced activities in prior games were better simplified or removed to give the players more freedom in gameplay, while criticizing the game's performance. Chris Tapsell of Eurogamer enjoyed the new animations and art for the Pokémon in Arceus, saying the way wild Pokémon, more vibrantly animated here than in any previous game, are all hops, rolls, lumbers. All splashes, naps, growls, and waddles. The way they exist so unelaborately but with so much personality is such a simple treat. Andrew Cunningham of Ars Tech NICA disliked the graphical style and lack of new Pokémon, but felt the battle system and open-world exploration mixed well together, saying, "And when the battle is over, you can go right back to exploring or catching other Pokémon, with no pauses for level ups or learning moves. Once you learn the ropes, it's easy to lose yourself in the rhythm of sneaking, catching, battling, and exploring. Tom Regan of The Guardian praised the exploration and the changes in gameplay compared to earlier entries in the franchise, saying, "For arguably the first time since the series began, everything feels fresh and thrillingly unpredictable," but criticized the quality of the game's visuals, comparing it unfavorably to that of The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.